Nobody gave them a chance. And honestly, nobody should have. Down 3 games to 1 in the NBA Finals. On the road, against the New York Knicks, the loudest building on the planet, a crowd so loud the walls sweat. The Spurs had been here before, not this exact moment, but the feeling. The feeling that the world had already written the ending, and all that was left was for you to show up and read it out loud. But here's the thing about the Spurs. They never learned how to read.
Game 1. June 4th, San Antonio.
The Spurs lost game 1 by 10. It wasn't as close as 10 sounds. The Knicks dismantled them in the third quarter, went on a 19-4 run that turned a competitive game into a statement. Jalen Brunson had 31. The Madison Square Garden faithful watching on TV were already planning the parade route. San Antonio looked old. San Antonio looked slow. San Antonio looked like a team that had used everything it had just getting here. Beating Portland, outlasting Minnesota in 6, somehow stealing a Game 7 from OKC in the conference finals on a night that felt like borrowed time. The national media wrote the narrative immediately. The Knicks are just better. This is their year. This is their city. This was always going to end this way.
Game 2. June 6th, San Antonio.
1 point. The Spurs lost game 2 by 1 point, 105-104. Victor Wembanyama had 34 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks. He was the best player on the floor. He was possibly the best player in the world in that moment. And the Spurs still lost. Because with 4.2 seconds left, a Knicks guard nobody expected stripped the ball clean, and San Antonio never got the shot off. 1 point, down 0-2. Going to New York. In the locker room afterward, Wembanyama spoke first. He said 5 words. We are not going home.
Game 3. June 9th, New York. Madison Square Garden.
The building was insane from the opening tip. MSG at full tilt is not an atmosphere. It's a physical force. The Spurs felt it. And then they used it. Wembanyama came out and scored the first 7 points of the game before the crowd had time to breathe. San Antonio pushed the pace, forced turnovers, turned MSG's energy against itself. The Knicks went cold in the second quarter. Couldn't find a rhythm, couldn't stop the bleeding. Final score, Spurs 115, Knicks 111. The Garden went quiet in a way it almost never does. Down 1-2, still alive.
Game 4. June 11th, New York.
This is the one that hurt. This is the game where it felt like the universe was saying enough. The Spurs led by 8 going into the fourth quarter. 8 points, 15 minutes away from tying the series. The Knicks bench had gone cold. Their starters were gassed. San Antonio had everything set up perfectly. And then Brunson flipped a switch. He scored 19 points in the fourth quarter alone. 19. He was everywhere. Mid-range pull-ups, floaters in traffic, 2 clutch free throws with 11 seconds left that sealed it 107-106. The Spurs had led by 8. They lost by 1, down 1-3, 3 games to 1 in the NBA Finals against New York. Statistically, historically, mathematically, it was over. The odds weren't just against San Antonio. The odds were laughing at them.
Game 5. June 14th, San Antonio.
Win or go home. The AT&T Center was sold out 3 hours before tip-off. People were watching on phones outside the building because they couldn't get in, but they had to be somewhere near it. This was the last chance. Everyone knew it. Nobody said it. Wembanyama was different from the opening possession. Not louder, not more aggressive. Different. Calmer than anyone had seen him in the series. Like a man who had let something go. Like someone who had stopped protecting the outcome and started just playing basketball. He finished the first half with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and a block on a Knicks layup in transition that sent the building into a frenzy. The Spurs led by 9 at halftime. The Knicks came back. Of course they did. Brunson again. Always Brunson. He cut it to 2 with 3 minutes left. The crowd noise became something primal. Not cheering, not chanting. Just sound. Pure human sound. With 38 seconds left, Wembanyama caught a pass on the left block, turned and hit a fadeaway over 2 defenders that restored the lead to 4. He walked back up the court and said nothing. His face said nothing. His body said everything. Final, Spurs 90, Knicks 81. Series 2-3, New York leads. But San Antonio is breathing.
Game 6, June 17th, New York.
The narrative had shifted. You could feel it in the pregame coverage. The certainty was gone from the Knicks side of things. Brunson gave the right answers in every interview, but his eyes were doing something different. The Garden faithful were loud, but it was the loudness of people trying to drown something out. The Spurs came out and played the cleanest half of basketball they had played all season. Unforced, precise, like they were playing in an empty gym, like the crowd wasn't there, like the stakes weren't there, like there was nothing to protect and nothing to fear. Wembanyama had 28 by the third quarter. The role players hit shot after shot. The Spurs bench outscored the Knicks bench by 17 points. Final, Spurs 120, Knicks 101. Series tied, 3-3.
Game 7, June 19th, San Antonio.
June 19th. Exactly 10 years to the day after LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers became the only team in NBA history to come back from 3-1 down in the finals against the Golden State Warriors. The same date, the same position, the same impossible thing. The building had not felt anything like this in a generation. The game itself was what Game 7s always are. Ugly and beautiful at the same time. Defense everywhere. Turnovers. Missed shots that should have gone in. Clutch shots that had no business going in. With 2 minutes left, Spurs by 1. Brunson drove baseline, Wembanyama rotated, and the block came. Not clean, but enough. The ball bounced out of bounds off a Knick. Spurs ball. The crowd became something that had no name. They ran the clock. Wembanyama got fouled with 12 seconds left. 2 free throws. He made both. Knicks came down, rushed a 3. It wasn't close. The buzzer sounded. Spurs 97, Knicks 91. San Antonio Spurs, NBA champions, 2026. In the locker room afterward, Wembanyama sat in front of his locker for a long time before he said anything. The champagne was everywhere. The noise was everywhere. His teammates were everywhere. He sat still. Then someone asked him, when did he know? When did he know they were going to do it? He thought about it for a second. After Game 4, he said, when it was over, I knew it wasn't over. Just like 2016, just like Cleveland. Some things don't follow the rules of what's supposed to happen. Some things just happen anyway.